Good morning and welcome to Pilgrim Lutheran Church and Schools Virtual Sunday School. This morning we're going to read Matthew chapter 20, and behind me is a picture of our U.S. State Capitol building. It's the ceiling when you're inside looking up at the dome. So we'll talk about why that might be there after we do the reading, and we'll talk a little bit about what we think about the reading. So let's go ahead and start. This is the parable of the vineyard, Matthew 20, verses 1 through 16. The early morning sun was shining on a vineyard full of plump, juicy grapes. The vineyard owner saw that the grapes were ripe and ready to be picked. At 9 o'clock, he hired hardworking men to pick the grapes. The workers picked and picked, but still there were more grapes. At 12 o'clock, the vineyard owner hired more workers. They picked and picked, but still there were more grapes. At 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, the vineyard owner hired more workers. They picked and picked and picked. Finally, there were no more grapes. The sun set. Time to pay all the workers. The vineyard owner paid the workers who started at 5 o'clock first. He paid the workers who started at 9 o'clock last. Every worker got the same amount. The early morning workers grumbled. "What? We worked all day. We picked the most grapes. No fair. Why are the afternoon workers paid the same?" The vineyard owner replied, "I paid you what I promised you. I can't give away what is mine can't I give away what is mine any way I want?" Jesus wanted to teach people about God's kingdom, like the vineyard owner who surprised everyone by giving the last the same as the first. Jesus said, "God is more generous than anyone can imagine." So we'll stop there and talk a little bit. And so I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to ask you to also pause. What does that mean? Did you have a chance to chat about it? So when I think about what does that mean, I think of a couple of things. First, I remember being a kid and I grew up with a sibling, and quite often we got different things. And either I would say, or my sibling would say, "That's not fair." Or we would play on the playground with kids in school. And sometimes kids would make up rules as they went along. And there were a lot of kids that would say, "That's not fair." And it's true. Life is sometimes not fair. I've had people be mean, and that's not fair. I've had accidents happen where things have had to change, and that's not fair. Or even something like a hurricane or something totally out of everybody's control happened to change plans, and that's not fair either. And so I think if we start from the point of just realizing that, unfortunately, life is not fair. It isn't. We can start to then think of it then in a different way. And we're experiencing this right now at Pilgrim. School is closed for another 2 weeks. That's not fair. Most of you have been following the rules. Even probably everybody's been following the rules, which is why school is closed. But something happened, and so now we have to take some extra precautions, and that's not fair. It's not the school year that we had envisioned or hoped for. So going back to then, how can we think about this differently? I think we can think about things in the way that God always says that He gives to each according to their needs. So everybody needs something different. And so we are going to receive and get things that are different from each other. Everybody's lives are going to look differently, and they should. And sometimes in those not fair situations, we actually receive a gift of learning or being able to look at something from a different perspective. And so a perspective that I'd like to share with you is a non-religious thought leader who put forth some ideas, and his name is Maslow. He came up with this levels, like a ladder of needs. So if God is giving to each according to their needs, and this human has come up with this idea of what are the steps of our needs, at the very bottom level, it's food and water and shelter. And then the next level is safety. And then the next level is a sense of community and feeling like you're part of something. And so we're at the safety level right now. And so that's what we're doing, is making sure that everybody is safe, no matter how much we really want to get together in that community level. And we still are a community. We just aren't physically together. But thanks to technology, we can be virtually together. That is huge. So I also want to kind of talk about what does that mean for us outside of this situation. I think when we think about giving to each according to their needs, at a very basic level, we as a pilgrim community, as a Lutheran church and school, are dedicated to service learning and giving service to our community. And we do want to look out for those people in our community and take care of everybody on that basic level of making sure they have food and water and shelter. And that's why we participate in a lot of the giving that we do to take care of our fellow community members. And now we as Pilgrim are being called to take care of that safety level. And that's what we're doing. And so despite not being fair, we are doing what we need to do to be able to get back to that level of community that we all really need and want. And so that is all within our hearts, right? We don't need the people in our state or in our federal capital, our US capital, telling us that we need to do those things. We know that we need to take care of each other. We know that we want to be part of this wonderful community. And I feel so happy to be part of the Pilgrim community, because despite all of the things that are not fair outside of the Pilgrim community, I love coming in where we do things that are within our control and are fair in the way that we give and take care of each other. So until we can get together again, keep taking care of each other, keep being part of this community, no matter where we are, and we'll keep pulling together. Look forward to seeing you again next week, and have a wonderful day.